Hello everybody, Patrick Smith with the YouTube channel Cure for Ignorance and Gun Safe Academy in Omaha, Nebraska. Talking today about how a bullet stops someone. Of course, you know in the movies they get shot one time with a pistol or really with a shotgun. The shotgun is the end all be all. Stop one shot with a shotgun and they fly back 15 feet and they're dead instantly. Or they go through the plate glass window and fall to their death. Or they go back through the swinging doors and they're dead. Ridiculous. Force transfer to target does not knock anybody over. Stopping power, you showed them and they fly backwards and they stop because they're dead instantly out of a pistol is ridiculous. Okay, stopping power out of a pistol is myth. You start talking 338 Lapua, now we got some stopping power. Okay, but 9mm, 40, 45, 10mm, it's ridiculous. It's not going to knock anybody on their ass. A little bit of physics. Newton's law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If you shot the guy and he went flying back that way in a red cloud of dust, it would knock you back an equal distance the other direction. Okay? Equal and opposite reaction. The amount of force hitting that target is exactly the same amount of force you feel in recoil with that pistol. Okay? So if this isn't knocking you over, hitting that guy is not going to knock him back. You were talking about stopping power, then you need something like a Modus 50 caliber machine gun. Okay? That has some stopping power. That is the reason that we mount those to vehicles, so you don't go flying backwards, okay? So, force transfer to target is not going to make it a stopping power type deal, okay? The number one way a bullet stops somebody is stop or I'll shoot. You draw your pistol, you tell them you're going to shoot them, they believe you, they go the other way. And how often does that work? Well, the stats look at somewhere between pretty much out of 30 times a private citizen would draw their pistol and point it at an attacker. 29 times out of 30, that's enough, that guy turns around and runs away. 29 times out of 30, psychological makes them stop. They believe they're going to get shot, they don't want to get shot, and they decide to go the other direction. Number one way a bullet stops somebody is psychological. Number two is blood loss. Blood loss takes time. Okay, so especially this is where shot placement comes into play. You hit them in the brachial artery, you hit them in their heart is shredded, their brachial artery is severed, and they are dumping blood out as fast as they possibly can. How much time do they have before they bleed out to the point where they pass out and they can no longer attack you? Perfect shot, you're looking at 10 to 15 seconds, somewhere in there. Okay, again, as much blood as can possibly come out of them is coming out, hitting the ground. 10 or 15 seconds, they'll lose consciousness. Okay, so that's a pretty good sized window. I usually tell people, if the guy's on top of you and he's stabbing you, how many times can I stab you in 10 to 15 seconds? And the answer is more than enough to kill you too, okay? A trauma team might be right there. They can't save that attacker's life, but he still has enough time to kill you before he bleeds out. And the number three way a bullet stops someone is electrical, okay? So with your muscles, they take an electrical impulse from your nerves, from your brain, in order to know what they're supposed to do. That electrical impulse tells that muscle what to do. If you sever the electrical connection, that muscle no longer moves. It has no more input. Doesn't know what it's supposed to do. Okay, so we can either shoot the nerve in the arm that's controlling that knife, or we can shoot the battery that's providing electricity. What's the easier shot? Brachial plexus tie-in, okay, or the battery. It's going to be the battery. Okay, and that kind of shot is almost going to be a contact hit. So the guy's attacking you. You've told him to stop. He hasn't stopped. He's advancing. You fire 2 rounds into his chest. He's still advancing. You fire 2 more rounds into his chest, he's still advancing, his arms reach away and he's ready to come down with the knife. Obviously psychological hasn't worked. Obviously blood loss is taking too much time and it hasn't worked. So the last shot we're going to do is going to be pretty much a contact hit. The nasoocular cavity, that part of the skull, this triangle there, where the skull is thinned out because of the optic nerves and the sinuses for the nose, that right there, that triangle is where we're going to put that last round. And that last round is going to penetrate the front of their skull, and it's going to destroy their brain, and it will turn them off like a switch. Okay. When we talk about caliber, caliber doesn't really matter so much. Now, what I mean by that, I'm gonna get yelled at for that. If you can't handle a 38 or a 45 or a 9mm, skip everything in between. Skip the 25s, the 32s, the 380s. Skip everything in between, and go down to a 22. Okay. 22 can certainly work for psychological. Okay. I don't want to get shot with a 22. Really small, really high velocity round. Okay, can certainly work for blood loss. Again, shot placement is going to become a lot more important because it's a much smaller hole, 1/4 inch diameter hole. So shot placement is a lot more important with that. You hit them in the lung, they might bleed out Tuesday, but it's not going to stop them now. But for that electrical hit, a 22 out of a pistol, if it hits the skull, will probably bounce off the front of the skull. Okay, so 22 out of a pistol will probably bounce off the skull, but a 22 in that nasal-ocular cavity, that triangle, will certainly penetrate the front of their skull. It will not have enough energy to go out the back of their skull, and it will zip around inside their skull like a BB in a tin can, and it will stop them. Okay, so if you can't handle a 9mm or a 45 or a 40 or a 38 or a 357, you can't handle those, just skip everything between, go down to 22. Manageable recoil, you can get them with 10-round magazines. Skip everything between, and the 22, if that's all you can handle, if that's all you can function because of arthritis or hand strength or whatever, if that's all you can function, that's a lot better than teeth and fingernails. So how does a bullet stop someone? Stop them psychologically, stop or all shoot and they believe you, 29 times out of 30 then they go the other way. But we're going to keep training because of that 1 in 30 chance where drawing is not going to be enough. Second thing we're going to do is to stop someone's blood loss. Again, the size of the hole and the placement of the hole makes a big difference. Okay. And the third thing we're going to talk about is electrical. Okay, turning off the battery, and that will turn them off like a switch. I don't care what kind of drugs they're on. So why, when you go to the store, we got full metal jackets and hollow points and hydro shocks and golden dot and black saber and blah 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 blah. All bullets do the same thing. They put a hole in you that you eventually bleed out of. All bullets do the same thing. Okay, so why do we have 500 different kinds of 9mm? Because Americans love choices. Okay, it's like toothpaste. All toothpaste does is clean your teeth, but try to buy the same kind 2 times in a row and you can't hardly do it. Okay, all ammunition does the same thing. You put a hole in you and you bleed out of it. Okay, the most important thing with your carry ammunition. Okay, I always recommend hollow points because they are less likely to go through the person you're shooting, your attacker, and hit somebody else. Again, less likely, not guaranteed, but less likely to overpenetrate. And besides that, make sure that ammunition functions well in your gun. Take a couple boxes of that ammunition, prove it in your weapon. Just because your buddy has the same gun as you doesn't mean that the ammo that works well in his gun is going to work well in yours. Take the ammunition, make sure it works well in your gun before you depend on that for your life. Okay? That's how a bullet stops somebody. My name is Patrick Smith, Cure for Ignorance, and Gun Safe Academy in Omaha, Nebraska. Thank you for watching.